how do you link a quiescent inflation report like this over to retail sales on Thursday?
Well, I think the key thing is that we are seeing inflation slowing, and it's consistent with what the Fed expects. But as was mentioned earlier, real wages are rising, and certainly it's supporting consumer spending. But when we ask consumers how they feel, they're still complaining about inflation. They're still saying that everything's too expensive. Interest rates are rising, so that means if you wanted to buy that car or refrigerator, it's going to cost more. So I would expect that even though real wages are rising, inflation is still there, and consumers are probably going to start pulling back on spending.
How are real wages doing? And within that, are they part? I mean, is it almost circuitous where they're actually part of the inflation report as we adjust for inflation with wages?
Well, I think wages are a part of the inflation story. Certainly, you have a number of industries that are experiencing labor shortages. And when you look at their wages, nominal and real, they're still rising pretty quickly. And I think that's showing up in the services aspect. Let's also not forget that insurance costs are rising because many of these insurance companies are suffering losses and they're raising premiums. So between insurance and wages, we still have these sticky inflation measures. And I don't think that's going to go away right away.
So, Dana, do you think that people are a little bit overzealous about this idea that the Fed is going to cut rates significantly next year?
I think they are. Indeed, the Fed tomorrow is probably going to signal, yes, it's done, but don't expect rate cuts anytime soon, and don't expect that many next year. We think anywhere from 50 to 100 basis points probably makes sense, especially if inflation, according to the SEP, doesn't get beyond 2% before the end of next year. So I still think that, yes, we can get to 2% by the end of next year, but that's really going to suggest that not many interest rate cuts are priced in.